Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel Homeopathy Super Sessions by Dr. Jagos. Today we'll be seeing the part 3 of Totality of Symptoms. Now let us see what are the different sources of totality. Well, the different sources are from the patient himself, which is the most important source, from his family members or friends accompanying the patient, from the observant homeopathic physician, from the assistant observer accompanying the homeopathic physician, and from the lab reports. So for the first point, from the patient himself, this is the most reliable source of information as the patient feels the subjective symptoms and expresses it in great detail. So it is the patient who is not well. So whatever he is feeling, he has to exhibit or he has to tell the physician. So whatever feelings are there, that is the subjective symptoms, the patient will express and will give much more details about it. The patient wants relief from the complaints as soon as possible, hence he will not lie to the physician. So the patient also has to be honest. He cannot fool the physician, and he will not fool the physician because he is suffering from a certain disease XYZ and he wants relief from that. So whatever his subjective symptoms are there, whatever his feelings are there, that he will express to the physician. So therefore, it becomes the most reliable source of information. From his family members or friends accompanying the patient, additional information will be obtained from whoever is accompanying the patient. So whoever accompanies the patient, the friends, the family members, the relatives, and so on and so forth. So even they may tell you some other additional information which the patient is not being able to express his feelings as he may be so used to it and he consider it as a part of his normal life. So sometimes his behavior also he may not be able to identify correctly. So it is identified or it is noticed by whoever is accompanying the patient. So you will get in the history saying that the family members will tell you, doctor, now my son has become very irritable. The slightest, if I talk to him, he will shout, he'll behave in a very rude fashion. Previously, his behavior was not like this. So this behavior of the patient is so used to this behavior that he thinks it is a part and parcel of his normal life. So he may not tell this to the physician. But this sort of behavior is observed by the parents or whoever is accompanying the patient, and additional information will be obtained. From the observant homeopathic physician. Well, the homeopathic physician may observe certain signs where the patient has missed observing it, like swelling of the thyroid gland, discoloration of the sclera, etc. So the physician has to be observant right from the time the patient enters the clinic till the time he leaves your clinic. You have to observe the patient, how he walks, how he talks, what are his actions, so on and so forth. So the patient's behavioral patterns like anxiousness, restlessness, rigidity, etc., has to be taken into consideration. So sometimes, patient may come for some other complaint, and suddenly, because your eye is trained to identify the pathology, you suddenly see that there's a slight swelling at the region of the neck, at the region of the thyroid gland. So you ask the patient, what is this swelling due to? So patient will say, no, I don't have any swelling, and I haven't observed it. So then the physician may ask for the thyroid function test and then later on evaluate whether the thyroid is affected or not. So in this manner, the homeopathic physician's trained eye will be able to find out the objective symptoms from the patient. From the assistant observer accompanying the homeopathic physician. Many a times the patient confides to the assistant doctor or the homeopathic physician, as the patient may feel embarrassed to tell certain symptoms directly to the doctor. So it may happen that most of the doctors have a busy practice. They always have their assistant doctors who initially take up the case and then they present it to the doctor later on. So It may be so that the patient may feel shy, or he may be reluctant, or he may be hesitant to tell something to the homeopathic doctor directly, because with the doctor, there are many other doctors sitting with him. So he may not like, or he may want some privacy. He may not like to confide certain details. So when the assistant doctor is taking the case, that time he may confide and he will tell the symptom to the assistant doctor. And he may not convey it to the doctor directly, but then the assistant doctor will draw the attention of the homeopathic physician, saying that this complaint also is there, which he hasn't told you. So in this way also you can get the totality from the assistant observer who's accompanying the homeopathic physician. And from the lab reports. Various lab reports may throw light on the pathology involved. So basically, you also have to go through the pathological reports, if any, if the patient has got. That will also help to confirm the diagnosis along with the signs and symptoms. And more important, to a homeopathic doctor, from the lab reports, we can also find out what miasm is present. And it gives the physician an in-depth understanding of the case. So basically, for example, suppose you have a CBC report and you see anemia, hemoglobin 11.5 gram %, and it is a male patient. So therefore, you know that anemia will be the soric miasm because it's a state of deficiency. Then you may get increase in the WBC count. So the normal WBC count is from 4 to 11,000. Suppose it is just raised 13,000, 14,000, then it will be the soric miasm. If it is much more raised, 15,000, 16,000, then it will be the tubercular miasm. Or if you see an X-ray chest, if you see a long, tubular, narrow, slender heart shadow, it will represent the tubercular miasm. So from the pathology itself or from the lab reports, the homeopathic physician will be able to get an in-depth understanding of the miasm, which will help him in his practice to identify the correct anti-miasmatic remedy. So it not only helps you to understand the diagnosis of the case, but to a homeopathic physician, it helps us to understand whatever is the Hahnemannian pathology, that is the miasm. Now, how do we form the totality? Basically, it is formed either on a general level or by taking, but rather it is formed by taking the general symptoms into consideration or the uncommon symptoms or the peculiar, rare, strange symptoms into consideration. Aphorism number 153 as well as aphorism number 211. So when we form the totality, importance is given to the mental symptoms pertaining to the will, emotion, intellect, and subconscious. So example of will. A symptom, mental symptom depicting the will be suicidal thoughts, no desire to live, loathing for life. Emotions will be different emotions you all know of love, anger, anxiety, grief, mortification, jealousy, etc. Intellect will be deficient memory, makes mistake while writing, forgets the things what he had read, or exceptionally good memory. And subconscious will be the dreams of the patient. Then, if you get any aberrations of perception, that will become the second important point to form the totality. That is the illusion, delusion, and hallucination. Then comes the characteristic physical generals, like the appetite, the thirst, then all the eliminations like urine, stool, perspiration, menses, they will come under the physical generals. Then characteristic physical particulars, it will depend upon the particular part, organ, location, or system involved. And lastly, the pathology. So with this, once you have formed the totality by taking into consideration the mental symptoms, then the characteristic physical generals, the particulars, and the pathology. And if in a mental case you get illusion, delusion, hallucination, It will come just after the mental symptoms. Then you have to do the evaluation. So it is the principle of grading or ranking of different kinds of symptoms in order of priority. So the evaluation of the symptoms is done. Those which are more important, they're kept above, less important are kept below. They are to be matched with the drug symptoms in order to cover the characteristic totality in a natural disease condition with that of the drug. So once we do the evaluation, once we find out the totality, then we have to see which is the most similar drug fitting the totality. Proper evaluation of symptom is the most important step next to case taking in homeopathy. So no doubt, a well-taken case is half cured, but at the same time, your evaluation technique should be also correct. In evaluation of the case, the value of symptoms must be taken into consideration on several points. Basically, symptoms are ranked according to the intensity, how deep they reach into the organism, that is the mental wheel. Emotional symptoms are considered most important according to the degree of peculiarity. So we can give the gradings of the symptom according to their peculiarity. So that's all in this video. Hope you liked it. Thank you very much.